Hey guys, it's another episode of Super Real Estate Bros podcast.
Woo!
And I'm Dave, your mortgage guy, and I am here with everyone's favorite Snyder, Mary Snyder, of the Selling with the Snyder team. Mary, tell them about you.
Hey, I'm Mary Snyder. I'm the Director of Operations for Selling with the Snyder Group, which is a team ran by my husband and myself. It's like wrangling cats, honestly, but it's a lot of fun, so let's get into it.
And I wanted to bring you onto this podcast to really dig into what somebody does in your role on a team in real estate outside of mainly keeping Brandon alive.
Well, Brandon's really busy.
He's very busy.
Brandon's really busy. So aside from feeding him, washing him, all those things, yeah, so I do a lot of client care, which I love. That's my bread and butter. I'm always texting our clients. I love sending our clients gifts. I probably spend an obscene amount of money on our business credit card sending clients gifts, and I don't tell Brandon, so that's fun for me. I do a lot of transaction stuff, which I recently found out I hate. Drives me crazy. Actually makes me want to
the transaction coordinating part
all of it. Literally,
okay.
if I'm not hanging out with my clients, I'm not interested. So, and I learned that the hard way. So I didn't know that, but I hate it. Like it's awful. Like we're hiring somebody right now for it. Thank God. But I took a week off and then I was like, a week's enough. And I came back and I talked to one client about a transaction and there were words exchanged. Not to the client, obviously, but like to myself. And I was like,
yeah, I've known you for a while. You're very passionate about your clients, which I think is awesome to see. I think, as you guys have grown your business, give us some nuggets of stuff that took a lot of time and work to put in, let's say processes even, that led you guys to get to where you're at, right? Because it's not easy, and I've been friends with you guys for years, and I've seen a lot of this firsthand.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do what you guys are doing, and as with any good, strong team, there's a dynamic there where Brandon's very good at certain things, and you're very good at certain
100%,
things.
yeah. So when I first got into real estate, I had a realtor that handed me this book, and he's like, here's your procedures manual. And I was like, all right, and it was 5 pages. And
It sounds short.
So was my career there. So it was
But it's in there.
it was really short, both of those things. And I spent the year that I was with that realtor actually building a procedure manual for this realtor. And unfortunately, I didn't get to take it with me. So when we started our own team, I did that again. And so now I think it's not even like a quarter of the way done. I think it's this thick already. And it's literally a how-to on everything that we do. And so when I did take that time off, or like I sort of kind of am now too, Brandon's been able to look at that or look at, the procedures that I have in place. Like, I saw the other day that I had in place, like, oh, you have this thing in place. And I didn't realize I had systems and processes until I just walked away from my team for, a month. And so there's things that we do, like I have, there was one he was talking about the other day, and I don't know what he was talking about. I was like, yeah, you have this system in place. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Probably our photographer. We just text him, and then, I don't remember the system he was telling me about the other day, but it was chaos. It's still chaos, 100%. I think every day is chaos, but we are learning from the chaos that like, okay, we need a system for this, or okay, we need a system for that. And he does a lot of the get the clients and put them under contract. And then once something's under contract, I kind of take over and I'm like, all right, let's get it closing table. Which I now hate.
She's just kidding, folks. She loves it. But so no, it is, and this is something I've done in my own business, so I know where you're coming from. It takes work to put these things in writing and put them in place. And at the time of doing it, it seems like a complete waste of time.
It's so repetitive, and it almost seems like I'm never gonna use this. Like every single time I write a procedures manual, I'm like, I'm never gonna use this. And then now I'm like panicking, like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to hire somebody they're gonna have to look at this procedures manual, and then they're not gonna survive, like, if I don't do these manuals for them. So it's secondhand nature for me, but it's not gonna be for the person that I bring on. So like,
well, and that's where, and sorry, that's where those are so important, because you know in your head, I'm going to do A, B, and C.
Right.
The point of these are not for you to be like, oh my God, I forgot how to do this. I'm going to go back to my own manual. That's not it. It's for the employees, because, you know, I'm sure as you guys brought on your first realtor, your system and stuff, and then second, third, and everybody after, the process smoother.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
our first realtor we brought on, we were just like, here you go. Have a good day. Thank you. And we did not do that realtor justice. And we brought on our second one, and we already had some things laid out. We're like, all right, you're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And if you don't like it, you can find another team.
Well, she's kidding. Maybe she's not kidding.
I'm a hard ass.
But no, I think the thing that you're leaving out, not giving yourself enough credit for, is those things allowed, let's say, Realtor 2 to ramp up faster.
100%, yeah.
Because you had systems.
Yes.
Realtor 3, Realtor 4, Realtor 5 all will ramp up faster than previous ones in industry norm.
Yeah.
Because now they have these things. And people want, you know, it's funny, everybody wants autonomy for sure, but they want to have a structure. They can't have everything be a free-for-all.
Oh, gosh, no.
And you see it in our business.
Yeah, no, it's great, because once I'm done with these procedures, they're going to go to our admin, who will ideally be my right hand. Like, if I can call them and they can do everything, and then they're going to build on from that, and then they'll be the ones kind of just showing buyers agents, all right, like, this is what we have in systems and processes for you. Go be great. And I mean, it's already working, and we're doing it with our pants down now. I tell Brent all the time, if we worked as hard as we did now with our pants up versus down, we would be killing it even more than we are here. So.
Pants up, down. I'll get back to him.
Brendan's pants are always down.
So for sure, and so when you guys came together and started the Snyder team, what are some things that you dealt with that maybe you weren't prepared for, the amount of work you were going to have to put in? Because I think everybody looks on the outside and says, oh man, hey, build a team and all this stuff, and it's all luxurious, and I have a nice car, and look at me, and blah, blah. But they don't realize that the work that you put in, there's some shit that you're not prepared for.
Lane keeping. And I drive like an ass. Just completely keeping yourself in your own lane. So it took Brendan and I, gosh, we've been in this, we're working on 4 years, I think. We spent the first year and a half, 2 years, literally just wanting to actually strangle each other, because this was his lane and this is my lane, and we were doing this, and it wasn't working. And it took us a really long time to be like, okay, this is what you're good at, and this is what you're good at. In fact, I honestly think it was, we retook a disc for our coach that we have, and we were like, oh, okay, so my lane's here and your lane's here. And I think people get this idea that like you can just start a team and free for all it, which is exactly what we did. And then it took us a little while to be like, okay, I'm terrible at talking to clients, like new clients. Like, I have zero patience. I'm like, buy the house right now. And then like, they're like, well, I want to look at 4 more. And I'm like, okay, honestly, you took me out here. Like, and my clients know this. Like, that's not a secret. Like, I tell them, like, I cannot make showings with you, because I will literally be like, this house is perfect for you. Yeah. And they'll be like, well, the closet's too small. And I'm like I'm an asshole. So he has to show the clients, because he has the patience, and I have no patience. And I have to do everything behind the scenes. And he's terrible at contracts, and it took him a couple of meltdowns to figure that out, where I'm not. And it took me a couple of meltdowns to figure out that like I can't do showings without wanting to literally just strangle someone.
Well, and I think for those of you who are listening or watching this that don't know, so Selling with the Snyders is Brandon and Mary Snyder. They're married together. That's a completely different dynamic there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think growing your team and adding the pieces, and let's say you're adding a director of operations, you need to sit down and say, hey, these are the things that I know I'm best at. I'm best at, let's say, marketing. I'm not best at paperwork. So you have to make sure you're finding, and you guys are very lucky because you have each other and your personalities are different and you have different skill sets.
Yeah, we're completely opposite.
But when you're hiring, you need to know if you're the salesperson, high energy, go, 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 blah, blah, blah. The person that you hire, you want to be most likely the complete opposite.
Right.
Even keel, we talked about this. Even keel, level-headed, detail-oriented while that person is the salesperson, or vice versa, right? Like if you're an agent and you love working with sellers, then the next agent you bring on as a buyer's agent needs to be better at buyers.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've got to commit to your way is great for this part, but if you really want to blow it up, that other person has to fit a different style.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's kind of what we're figuring out now is like with these interviews for like the admin, like he's not even on them, he's not a part of them, he's not looking at the applications, like he's getting no say until we're second, third interview, where the only reason he's there is because I want him to see who they are. Otherwise, like realistically, he could hate them. It doesn't.
Well, and Brandon's not in the room right now, but I'm assuming if he was, Brandon would be okay with that plan also, because that's not Brandon's best.
Right, no, it's not.
It's not what he wants to do.
And I could not bring on an agent and be like, they're gonna do it, because honestly, they probably would suck. And so like that, he has to bring on the agents and I have to deal with it.
Right.
And that's like the conversation we had is like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing, like you're gonna get an input because we're married and we're business partners, but at the end of the day, what I say for this position is final. And I have that on the admin side, and he has that on the sales team. And we call it that. We call it his sales team. That's not my sales team. It's our team, and we run it, but that's his sales team, and that's my admin team.
Okay, so let me ask you. Right now, the filming of this is in, we're going to be December of 2022. So going into this crazy market and everything that's going on, what are some things that you have on your plate that you're working on, and or things that you want to work on? Because this is the thing that I always get excited. It's like, we're going through a weird market, a weird change. Those of us who are going to make it and succeed are always working on something. And so what are some things?
So a lot of the stuff I'm working towards is actually more philanthropy and fundraising and giving back. That's huge for me. Most of it's with my clients. Like I have 1, 2, 3 client event style things I'm currently working on.
Yep.
One of them is specifically for our buyer's agent. She said, hey, I have this idea. It doesn't really make any sense. And she gave me the outline. And I was like, okay, so you want to do this and this and this. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. I'm like, great, I'll plan it for you. Because we can't do any of this without our clients. So my biggest thing is I'm constantly pouring into it. 100%. So I have wreaths right now that are sitting in my office. I have 45 wreaths that I have to take out to my clients. If you haven't gotten yours yet and you're watching this, I'm really sorry, it's on its way. I actually am spending the next 2 weeks taking those wreaths out. I'm doing a fundraiser for Hope Impacts with another realtor. She contacted me and was like, hey, I want to do this thing and you have a big network, to reach people. And I was like, okay. I was really touched by that. Like I didn't realize that I was making an impact on people. And then she's like, yeah, you're doing this thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm almost always working on an event for clients. Regardless of the month, regardless of the week, I have something in my mental pipeline. Yeah, I'm always working on something for my clients.
That's something that knowing you and you and I being friends, that's something that you love.
I live and breathe it.
And I think that's a beautiful thing when it comes to, and we get lost on it sometimes. There's aspects of what we do that you have to love. Right?
Oh yeah, no, that's...
You find it, and what you don't love, you just put on Brandon, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine, and then he can have the meltdowns. Right?
Yeah.
I don't need to have the meltdowns, he can have them. I'm just gonna, I mean, mine's just spending money for my clients, right? Like, that's all I do, and then
he's gonna be pissed.
He goes out and finds the money.
He'll be pissed when he watches this. Let's do this. To kind of finish it up, one thing I was thinking on, if there's somebody in your spot watching this, listening to the podcast, director of operations for a real estate team that's growing, right? And is in more of the early years than the later years, right?
Okay.
So first couple years versus somebody who's been doing it 20 years. What's some advice you can give somebody in that role if they're in the spot? Who's
done it longer than me?
No,
or less than me?
Right, or done it, or even the same, right? But meaning you guys are early in the team growing versus later.
Right.
So what's some advice? Hey, early on, these are some things that I know were a big deal. I put the work in, they had great returns, they were good ideas, bad ideas. What's some advice you could give a director of operations who's listening to this?
Start your system processes now. Trust me, you're gonna regret it. I've been working on our...
Wait, but hang on, let's stop there real quick. Because that shit's a pain in the ass.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare. I literally, no.
It's harder to sit down and we're gonna do this task, all 50 steps written out.
Yeah.
To take the time to do that when you're busy or slow, because you know down the line it's saving you time.
Right.
So that's number one,
Yeah.
the best piece of advice that you can give.
You have to take the time now, like even though it's gonna like just sit at your desk, get your favorite drink. I mean, even if it's like a glass of wine, that's fine. You know, don't overdo it. But get your favorite drink, sit down, and honestly, time block, which is a thing that like people hate hearing and hate doing. But like for something like this, time block to set up those systems and processes, because you're gonna be so grateful for those 8 hours in 6 months when you're spending 8 minutes doing whatever you needed to do, because all you have to do is look at a piece of paper, you already have it in your head and you're just moving and grooving, versus, oh my God, like I have all these things. Like I see so many realtors that, and it's something you actually say all the time, that they're busy, but they're not really busy. And they're just constantly moving.
With the wrong activity.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta be honest, I wanna end it there. Because I'm scared that the podcast we have a high and then we're gonna drop off with some less important advice than that. I think that comment right there, make your systems a focus early on.
Yeah.
As a director of operations for your real estate team growing, it seems ridiculous. It may not lead to a closing. It seems like busy work. It's a pain in the ass. You don't want to do it. You'll get to it later. There's all these excuses. That's going to keep you from blowing up sooner. And I think that's the biggest walk away from this podcast. Outside that you run it, right? That's the other thing to walk away from, is that you're the boss.
In quotations, it's the Mary Snyder team.
Exactly. So selling with the Snyders, they can find you guys everywhere.
Everywhere. We have a YouTube, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have a website. I mean, we have a Google link, we're out there. So, I mean, you could literally type in selling with the Snyders or selling with the Snyder Group and you will find us.
Check them out. See you guys on the next one.